Hello, and welcome to this edition of Capture. I'm Ciera Cypert. To kick things off, we'll take a look at U.S. and world news. It is now illegal in Russia to distribute any images that depict President Vladimir Putin wearing makeup, implying he is homosexual. Violators will be prosecuted. This morning, Judge Neil Gorsuch became Justice Gorsuch as he was sworn in as the 113th Justice of the Supreme Court, filling the late Justice Scalia's seat. This confirmation did not come without pushback from Senate Democrats, forcing Leader McConnell to use the nuclear option. According to the Washington Post, Justice Gorsuch is likely to have an immediate impact on our judicial system in regards to the expansion of the Second Amendment. On Monday, April 3rd, ABC News reported that at least 11 people died in a bomb explosion at a subway train station in Russia. On Tuesday, April 4th, North Korea reportedly launched a missile into the Sea of Japan. BBC reports that last month, North Korea fired 4 ballistic missiles near the Chinese border. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called it a new stage of threat. On Wednesday, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad crossed the international red line by bombing his own people with toxic chemical gases. One day later, President Trump took military action by launching 59 Tomahawk missiles at Syrian military bases in an attempt to destroy their chemical weapons. On Friday, a truck attack in Stockholm, Sweden, killed 4 people. By Sunday, CNN reported that the suspect is a member of a radical Islamic terror cell. Now it's time for an APU sports update. The Cougars had a weekend of winning. APU baseball won all 4 games against Hawaii Pacific, making their overall record 30-4. Our softball team also won all of their games this weekend against Dominican. They are now 26-16. Men's tennis continued their winning streak, beating Concordia University at Pomona-Pitzer. They are now 17-3. Women's tennis also beat Concordia and is gearing up for their next match on Wednesday against University of California, San Diego. They are 13-7 this season. Water polo suffered a tough loss against Loyola Marymount University on Saturday. The team is now 13-11. Also on Saturday, the men's and women's track and field team competed at the Pomona-Pitzer Invitational. The men had 11 personal best performances and the women had 12. It's a good weekend to come support track and field because APU is hosting 3 days of competition starting this Wednesday. 2 Cougar athletes, Corey Reed and Daphne Chambers, will compete in the Mount Sac relays on Wednesday and Thursday. The team will compete in the Brian Clay Invitational on Thursday and Friday. Last week, the Office of Women's Development held Stand Up for Your Sister, a special 3-day event that focused on raising awareness for challenges women face every day. Here's Capture reporter Brandon Rodriguez with the story.
On April 3rd through 5th, the Office of Women's Development held a special event for both men and women. Stand Up for Your Sister brings both men and women together in order to discover how to support each other and positively impact the community. Women's Development Director, Dr. Elaine Richardson, explains the purpose of the event.
The main goal of this event is to increase awareness within our community, both of men and women, of the types of issues that women in our community are confronted with, that they're challenged with, that they're experiencing.
The first night belonged to the women. They took a personal and anonymous questionnaire, which would then be given to another female participant. Each participant would stand for their sister, depending on the answers given.
When they first said, they're like, oh, you're gonna take a 50-question survey, I was like, what? But I got it, and filling it out was like tough, and I once we got that and realized all the personal questions on it about eating disorders and abuse and all that. At that point I was like, okay, this is a super serious event. So filling that out and then passing it back and then getting one back was super impactful, and the whole standing up to see it's that no one was alone on any of the issues that were presented in the survey.
The next day was for the men at Smith Hall. They did not take the survey themselves, but participated in the same exercises as the women, standing up for their questions and answers that represented their APU counterparts. Both Elijah Kaak and Frank Montanez attended the event and shared how they were both impacted.
I think the thing that most impacted me was just seeing the amount of women that struggle with these issues. I've had a few friends that have opened up to me about certain things that are on these lists, but the amount of people that stood out in certain questions that were asked, it was just astounding, actually. And it was something that really made my heart just heartstrings pull.
I'm a resident advisor here, and half my staff are women, and so I feel like it's very important to understand their point of view and being able to just get a better insight on the things that they struggle with so that I can better reach out to them, and even my residents who are females. Like, that just helps build community, which is what AP is all about.
On the final day of the event, both the men and women came together in Adams Hall to watch a documentary about sexual assault. Afterwards, they grouped up and discussed their reflections on the event as a whole. Many of the participants left with a new perspective and a greater understanding of their counterparts, which appears to be a step in the right direction for everyone. Reporting for APU Capture, this is Brandon Rodriguez.
Last Thursday, 12 APU students gathered at the Wynn Amphitheater to compete in the annual Final Cut singing competition. Each contestant was given the chance to sing one song of their choice. Performers were critiqued by 3 celebrity judges who made the final decision at the end of the evening. The winner of this year's Final Cut competition was Asia Grant, and as a reward, Asia won a free recording session. On a lighter note, let's take a look at what's happening down the freeway in Hollywood. This past weekend, new movies including Smurfs: The Lost Village, Going in Style, and The Case for Christ topped the box office. Other movies like The Boss Baby and Power Rangers have also performed well. It's no surprise that Disney's Beauty and the Beast is also drawing crowds. If you're in the mood for a thriller, Get Out and Split may be right up your alley. Other upcoming horror movies will include Annabelle, Creation, and the remake of Stephen King's classic horror novel, It. Finally, comic fans are counting down for the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Justice League. That's all we have for this edition of Capture. Be sure to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Have a great week and a blessed Easter weekend.